Welcome to Prime Asia Television. You're watching Prime Canada, and I'm your host, Mandeep Pujara, presenting the Prime Alberta. So these days, the leadership race of the Liberal Party is going on, and we have with us a very special guest, Mr. Frank from Montreal. He's an ex-MP from 2015 to 20, and now he's running for the leadership race of Liberal Party of Canada. So whosoever becomes a leadership leader of the Liberal Party, he will become a Prime Minister of Canada as well. So let him welcome first and talk about his candidacy, how he is representing and what priorities he's eyeing on. Welcome, Frank.
Well, thank you, Mandeep, and thank you for having me here and this opportunity to speak with everybody.
Yeah.
So my name is Frank Baylis. I was a Member of Parliament from 2015 to 2019 in the riding of Pierrefonds Dollar, which is in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 years of a 40-year career I've had, and most of my career has been in business. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've built and sold businesses, mostly in the medical device field. But I've also been involved with human rights, so that's been another passion of mine. So I wear different hats, and by training, I'm a professional engineer. That's my background.
That's really wonderful. And Frank, tell us, our audience, why you are running for the leadership race of the Liberal Party of Canada.
So I start off with saying to everybody that I'm very optimistic about Canada. I know we live in a time where we see challenges around us. There's economic challenges, political challenges, and people are very worried. But I remain very optimistic. I think we live in the best country in the world. I think we have this opportunity to meet what is holding us back. So I want to be working on the economy. I want to be working and fixing our healthcare system, which is where I've worked for the last 35 years. And I just want to really get things running well in Ottawa, too. I'm someone that fixes things. I've got an engineer's brain. So when I look at a problem, I'm looking at solutions, and I see solutions waiting to be implemented pretty well everywhere.
So let me ask you about today, Mr. Donald Trump took his charge as the President of the United States. We are going through the economic crisis in Canada. He, told us he is going to implement a 25% tariffs on the Canadian goods we are exporting from Canada to US. What is your take on that? How the economic crisis will handle here, or if you will be the leader of the the Liberal Party and the Prime Minister of Canada, what is your take on that? How you will handle that? How you see Mrs. President Trump's statement about the tariffs?
Yeah, so let me start off by telling everybody that I have negotiated hundreds and hundreds of contracts with Americans. I've negotiated contracts with individuals. I've negotiated contracts with companies. I've negotiated contracts with insurance businesses, with hospitals, obviously, and even with the American government agencies such as Veterans Affairs and Food and Drug Administration. Mm-hmm. And over my time, decades of dealing with Americans, most of the time I find them very polite and cordial. But I have run into people like Mr. Trump before. Mm-hmm. And I've run into this negotiating tactic. So I'm very familiar with it, and I know how to deal with it.
So will it impact the Canadian economy in the long run?
So first thing you do is when you're looking at a negotiation like that, we have to ask ourselves, what does Donald Trump need? Not even what he wants. Forget about what he says. I'll tell you what he needs. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump has promised the American people, and this is what got him elected, the number one issue that got him elected was fixing their illegal immigration problem. Mm-hmm. He has a big problem from the southern border. Now, he sends out a tweet stating that if Canada and Mexico don't get the borders under control, he's going to put 25% tariffs on both of us.
Absolutely. That's not immigration.
But he puts the two together. Now, everybody I asked in Canada says, I asked them a simple question. Were you aware how bad Americans were mad with Canada about illegal immigration going to the States? And everybody says to me, no, Frank, I wasn't. Mm-hmm. And if you ask Americans, they would say the same thing. And you know why? Because there is no major problem. The problem Americans have with illegal immigration is the southern border. Mm-hmm. However, Mr. Trump needs, not even wants, he needs a victory on immigration. He's promised the American people he's going to fix immigration. So what he's doing here is he's creating a fake narrative. Mm-hmm. He's going to the Americans, whoa, we have a big problem in Canada, big problem. What are we going to do? We're going to hit him with tariffs. The first day I get elected, I'm going to nominate or put in power. I'm going to hit him with tariffs. I'm going to do this and that. Big problem, everybody. I'm going to deal with the North.
So basically, that's a problem of South, not the North.
He is creating a problem so that in a couple of months or whatever, he's going to then tell the American people, I've solved the problem. Because he has a real problem with the southern border. And there they have over 1.5 million coming over. They don't even know, plus or minus 1%, sometimes going forward or back. The Canadian border is irrelevant in this issue. So what he's doing, and I know this, he's creating a narrative that he needs to fix something.
And how you see the drug trafficking, like the smuggling, drug smuggling?
So first of all, I would say we want to talk about the border. We actually want to talk about the border. So I'd be very, very happy to sit down with Mr. Trump and say, look, we have a big problem with illegal guns coming up. The crime is not us going down. It's them coming up with their illegal guns. We want to strengthen our border. And he wants to win, so we work together to strengthen our border, but we'll make sure we get what we want. And then he can go and tell the American people how he did a great job, which he's going to do no matter what anyways, and he's going to brag about it. And I'm going to let him do that. But I won't let him hurt our economy. I won't let him hurt our businesses, our jobs. And if he starts to punch us, we'll punch him back just as hard as he punches us. And he'll learn very quickly that this is not the route to go.
So basically, what you're trying to say, like he is using Canada as a toy to play.
He doesn't
to convince their own people.
The first thing we have to realize is that he's only talking to Americans. He only cares about Americans. He doesn't care, he doesn't like us or dislike us, we're irrelevant. But that's okay. As long as we know what he's after, we can play the game and play it to our advantage. That's what I've done in negotiations time and time again.
Okay, that's great. Now let's come to the Canada. We have so many problems going on. We are actually have problem of health. We have the big wait time in the emergency rooms these days.
Yes, the healthcare system.
We don't have much doctors to take care of.
Yes, the healthcare is bad. Yeah.
So many Canadians are without family doctors these days. The wait time is big, so that's why people are going out of country, like the States, to, India even, and other countries for their treatment, for their surgeries. How you see that problem, and how the Canadian government will fix that in coming days, because we are already shortage of so many things here in Canada. Population has grown so much in these 5 to 10 years, but we have not, prepared ourselves. We are not delivering the services we actually promised earlier. So what is your take on that? Like how you will fix that?
Okay. So I tell people, and I want everybody to know this, we are going to have the best healthcare system in the world. Number one in the world. And I have the pathway to do it. What we're going to do, first of all, is understand that we have to change the way the healthcare is delivered, not just keep throwing more money at it. Everybody knows it's not more money. I've been in healthcare for 35 years. And if you talk to doctors today and they're working up to here, and you can tell them, and they told me, Frank, if you pay me more, thank you, but I can't work anymore. So it's not a question of money. What we need to do is have what I call these new centers, which are going to be staffed by what we call nurse practitioners or physician assistants. So you have nurses that are trained here, doctors that are trained here. But if we can train these nurses to come up to nurse practitioner level, then what can happen is they can alleviate completely the stress that we're feeling throughout the system.
So that's upskilling of your skills, actually.
Yeah. Now we have 450,000 nurses in Canada. If we take just 6,000 of them over the course of 5 or 6 years, and I'm not promising we're going to fix this overnight. I don't want people to think that. But within 5 or 6 years, we'll have the best system. First thing we're going to do is train them over time. Once we get these 6,000 nurses, they'll each take about 1,000 patients. That's 6 million Canadians now have access. Suddenly, if you have a problem, you don't go to the emergency room. You go to see these nurse practitioner centers. And they'll have a couple of doctors there if there's a question they can't answer. They'll have artificial intelligence to support them in doing diagnostics. We're going to open up the system and completely change it. And when we do that, we don't have to keep worrying about emergency rooms being overfilled, because they're just going to use what they were originally designed for, truly an emergency. So I'm going to transform the system, and everybody's going to have access. And on top of that, it's not going to cost us as much. And we have these nurses, we have these people, we have the talent right here. I just want to put it to work and get this set up. And I have seen also the Canadian technology develop artificial intelligence. You'd be fascinated what's coming. So I see this opportunity to put it into place. And when we do so, then we're going to start really seeing the the improvements that we're all looking for.
And what about the credential organizations? Like we have opened immigration in a big way.
Yes.
So many, the qualified doctors.
Yes.
So many qualified health practitioners are here in Canada these days, but they are trying taxes.
Yeah.
They don't get the residency.
Yeah, there's a solution there too. And what we're doing, which is very silly, imagine someone comes from one of the top universities in the world. I don't know. Say they come from Harvard or they come from Oxford,
Yeah.
and you can't get better education, and you come here and we say, well, we don't know about your credentials. This is ridiculous. So what we need to do is we need to sit down with universities and centers of excellence around the world, and they have them everywhere in India and everything, and say, if you come from this hospital and we know that you've made this training, you have what we call equivalency. This is equivalent. So when you're coming here, even before you immigrate, you submit your documents. We do a thorough check. Did they really go here? No. So there's no
But
fraud.
that is in place. Like
I know
when
that.
they go through the express entry system or any other permanent residency program.
Yes.
So they
what they
need
haven't-
to go through the WSC or the different educational equivalency services.
Yeah, but what they haven't done is made a statement that these centers, this training, university here, and here, it's meet right away. So we don't need to re-examine you if you've gone to Harvard. We don't need to re-examine you if you've gone to this top university in France. We already know the credentials. We're following that. You're in. It's like you went to a Canadian university right away. And this will allow us to have all this access to all these great physicians, these great nurses, and we're doing it intelligently. So when they land, they already know what's going to happen. We're already ready for that. That's the way you do it. And it's got to be the federal government, because every province can't be doing this. Like we've got this, and our province recognizes this university, but that province recognizes that one.
Yeah, but basically the immigration is a federal.
It has to be. Yeah, that's right. But if we do this intelligently, then we can flow the people in seamlessly, and everybody wins, as you said.
So is it possible, like in the next few years, to
That's what I'm gonna do.
and as we are actually stopping immigration these days, like IRCC, every day they used to announce different things, like we are actually controlling immigration, and as per like the students are coming, visitors are coming, even the postgraduate work permit holders, and even the parents and grandparents program, they have already stopped. They announced they'll not get the lottery this year, 2025, and so many people are waiting for so long. They took applications in 2020. Like about 160,000 applications they got, and out of that, I believe 120,000 applications went through the lottery. 40,000 still left, and people are crying. Like they are here, their parents are back home.
So what we're going to do, and we have to be honest with ourselves, we've lost control of immigration. We're going to go back to when we used to have intelligent and controlled immigration, bringing people intelligently and in a controlled fashion. So if I was to say to you, can we have 100 immigrants a year? You're going to laugh and say, Frank, that's silly. Of course we can. He asks the same question. Can we have 100 million? You're going to laugh again and say, of course we can. So we know it's a number. And unfortunately, the government doubled this number just overnight and quadrupled the number of students overnight. And the system went, whoa, wait a minute. And then the whole system collapsed. So we got to chew our way through it. It's not going to be overnight. But with time, we're going to get back to where we need to be and have a clean, fair system. Bring it in. Look, my mother's an immigrant. My father's an immigrant. My business partner is an immigrant from India. So immigration is wonderful. I'm a huge believer in immigration. We are Canadians. We like immigration, but we want it done right, and that's what I'm going to do.
So I mean, like Trudeau came to power in 2015, and you were the MP at that time. And did you any whistleblowing that time about that? Like your government is in the power, and they actually created that mess. So what did you do in the 4 years when he came to the power?
So first of all, I was there from 2015 to 2019, and I served my time.
The first round.
And I think it was a great honor. I consider it an honor to serve. I decided not to go back. Now, I know that people want to go back and do this and that, look at it. I'm not interested in that. I'm going to leave the analysis to historians. Who did what, when, that's for historians. I think Canadians want, what are you going to do for me today? I have problems today. And so I'm not trying to avoid your question, but I really am trying to focus on what am I going to bring to the table and how am I going to solve the problem we have today. And I'll let other people look at it and debate that fact. But my focus is on going forward And I want you to know this is what we're going to get done.
Okay. So we are already shortage of doctors here, and the medical residency seats are not enough to cater the increased population. We actually believe we have around 40 million population right now in Canada, and that's growing like anything because of the immigration. Do you think we need to increase the residency seats in the hospitals, and we need new medical schools as well?
It's
to
all
fulfill
part
that
of
demand?
There's no question there's a whole series of things that need to happen. And there's added to that is that another thing that's happened in medicine, it used to be predominantly men as doctors, now it's predominantly women. And women have to take time off, they have to have babies, they have families, they cannot put the same time in. So it's more than just we had one male doctor replaced with a female doctor. It doesn't work because that's just the way it is in life. The family and the female doctors don't have to graze for their families, have to take time off for maternity and all that. So we have not reacted to that. That's what you're driving at. And we've not reacted to the growth in population. And today we're feeling it. Okay, so we need to deal with that. And that's part of my plan, which is to open up, but to sit down and look at the whole picture. Not just say this one thing's going to solve it. How are we going to bring in the doctors that are experts, and I've known them, that come here and can't work. It's ridiculous. So how are we going to make that open? How are we going to open a doorway for all the Canadians that have gone and trained elsewhere in the world for them to come back in? How are we going to help build good schools? We have great schools here, but not just open up any school quickly. So all this is going to feed into a plan, and that's why I said it's going to take 5 or 6 years, but if we do it intelligently, then we will then have a system where what I call continuous care centers, CCCs, triple Cs. So you're going to have a hospital with an emergency. Look, you get hit by a car, you're going to the emergency. That's the way it should be. That's how it's designed. You have a chronic disease, you have an issue, you're going to go into what you can call it whatever you want, but another building, continuous care center. And there you'll have access to doctor, nurses, nurse practitioners, and you'll be able to book your time. You don't have to go sit 8 hours waiting and waiting. We'll do it intelligently. We can do it. The technology's there. Added to that, I have been supporting, because I'm an entrepreneur and I help and mentor and guide a lot of young entrepreneurs. You're going to be blown away by the technology that's coming for diagnostics and AI, for treatment, for reading your records. And I'm going to put all this to work because I'm an engineer. And I see, okay, look, so when I see this, I see how to put it back together. That's my training.
Best use of available resources, am I right?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right how we think.
Okay, let me come back, the point. As there's the sizable population of the Indians and the Punjabi over here living in Canada. So do you have any specific announcement for them?
My business partner is South Asian. He came from India, I think from Rajasthan. One of my good friends is Punjabi, and he's been a key part of me, my work here as my run to politics and all that. So I think that the South Asian community is a fundamentally important part of the fabric of Canada. It's a beautiful community. I just was at a Lori celebration last night. I've done many temples. I think it's a beautiful part of our culture, and I am always encouraged when they want to teach the language, the dances, and keep that going. It makes us all richer. So I'm very happy to see that.
So do you have any specific announcement for them? Like most of the Punjabis are involved in the trucking industry, and trucking is going through a very bad pace these days. Like earlier they used to drive trucks and have the big transport companies, like the 100 of trucks. But nowadays they are in pain, and they are looking, the government to get the best of the best help. But I think there's nothing.
So, there is, like, trucks move goods, and to move goods, we need people buying. We need economy rolling. So to help the truckers, is going to help everybody. What have I done? I have been building companies. I have created thousands of great jobs, top jobs, engineering jobs, technician jobs, manufacturing jobs here in Canada. I've helped other companies do the same thing. I want to be in government so I can help all Canadian companies do this. I don't want us to be investing in companies from wherever to come to Canada. I want to be investing in Canadian companies, Canadian know-how. I've done it. I have seen the amazing things that are being done by young people. I am absolutely convinced if we invest in ourselves, we will grow amazing. And then things like truckers will be busy. We'll all be busy, but we'll be good busy making money. And the other thing that's going to happen is once we get our financial house in order and we stop spending money we don't have, the Canadian dollar will go back up. We are now below 70 cents US. So affordability. If you want to buy an orange, well, we don't grow oranges in Canada. So the grocery store man has to go buy it in the United States, pay US dollars, bring it back to Canada. When it's brought back to Canada, it has to sell it in Canadian dollars. So every time our dollar goes down, orange price goes up. So if I can bring our dollar up, we bring the orange prices down. At the same time, put more money in the pockets of Canadians, well, there you're solving affordability. So that's my focus. And I'm very laser focused. That's the mountain we're going to climb together. But I've done it, and I've done it, and I've done it. Now, this is to compare with someone like Mr. Poilievre, who is an excellent politician. But unfortunately, that's where it starts with Mr. Poilievre. That's also where it stops. So if people want solutions from the real world, that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the real world. I've had to make payroll. I've had to have the challenges, the ups and downs, but I've got through them all, and I've known good success. And now I want to bring that to the rest of the country.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. And any message to the community?
I just say thank you. And look, I mean, I really appreciate your support. If you're here and you like what I'm saying, it's very easy to support me or be involved in the Liberal race. You just have to go to our website called liberal.ca, and there it doesn't cost anything. You don't need to make a donation, but you just register, and once you register, you'll have the right to vote. So I would ask everybody that's listening to help me and stand up, and we can together make this country reach its full potential. We can really do amazing things, and that's what I'm here to do.
Thank you very much for your time, and look forward, and our best wishes for the leadership race.
Well, thank you for having me, Andy, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much. So ਇਸ ਹਨ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਫਰੈਂਕ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਵਿਸਥਾਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਹਨ। ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਇਕਨੋਮੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸੁਧਾਰਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਹੈਲਥ ਕੇਅਰ ਦਾ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਟਰੱਕਿੰਗ ਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਹਨ, ਐਂਡ ਫਰੈਂਕ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੇਬਾਕੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਲੰਟਲੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਵਾਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤੇ। ਐਂਡ ਮੈਂ ਆਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੋਵੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਰੇਸ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੜੇ ਹਨ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਹਨ, ਜੋ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਹਨ, ਐਕਸ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਹਨ ਫਰੀਲੈਂਡ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਅਤੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ 1 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਨੇਤਾ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏਗਾ, ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਨਵੇਂ ਜੋ ਹਨ ਉਹ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਣਗੇ, ਅਤੇ ਜਲਦ ਤੋਂ ਜਲਦ ਹੀ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਵੀ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆ ਜਾਣਗੀਆਂ। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਨਦੀਪ ਪੁਜਾਰਾ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਦੇਵੇਗਾ। ਫਿਰ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਵੀਂ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ TV, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ।